Good morning, Michigan. A very pleasant hump day Wednesday to you. It's Michael Patrick Shields. We'll make it a wonderful Wednesday, and glad to have you with us. Hopefully for the Red Wings, it'll be a wonderful day. They've got to play tonight the San Jose Sharks in Detroit. And, they're down 2-0 to the San Jose Sharks. And I just spoke with Kip Miller a little bit earlier in the program. Kip Miller played for a bunch of NHL teams, played for the Michigan State Spartans before that, and is one of the owners of Walnut Hills Country Club. And I asked him, you played for the Sharks, you played for the bunch of teams. Is it possible that sometimes, because last year the Sharks eliminated the Red Wings, is it possible that sometimes a certain team just gets someone's number, gets in their head, and, becomes a nemesis? Here's what he said.
I think they definitely do. You'll see that some teams match up and play better against other teams than they would against a different team. The Red Wings are a good skating club, and San Jose's a hard-working, grinded-out kind of team with some skill, and they seem to match up well against the Red Wings.
That's bad news for Detroit, so we'll see. It's a big game tonight. Very, very important. The Rapid will be able to continue to expand services in Grand Rapids. Voter approval yesterday of a tax increase. Kent County voters approved the hike yesterday with winning margins counted in Grand Rapids and East Grand Rapids, too. The increased funds are going to expand some of the routes, decrease wait time between buses, and operate the Silver Line high-speed bus line. Holland voters approved new money for the MAX transit system, and in the state capital of Lansing, the millage did not pass. So Mayor Bernero says, looks like next year we're going to have what is he calling for? Wow, his budget is going to be cut by almost 10%. And the effort there was obviously that would have allowed dozens of policemen to keep their jobs and fire jobs and 2 fire stations, but was a sizable property tax increase, and no luck. By a margin of less than 5 percentage points, the voters said no. An extra 602 yes votes would have made the difference, and the mayor says, as much as anything, it's a referendum on the economy. I was hoping it would be a referendum on the city and the quality of life, but people are scared. They see prices going up. In fact, the prices of gas are going up to record highs now. The average in the state of Michigan is $4.22. That's a record, and that's expensive. The search is on for suspects who led police from several communities on a high-speed chase yesterday. It started when a Walker police officer tried to pull over a driver for an invalid license plate. The guy hit the gas, though, and he started a chase through Walker, Grand Rapids, and East Grand Rapids before he crashed at Lake Drive and Hall Street. And then the people in the car fled the scene on foot. So they didn't want any part of messing around with the police, and a chase ensued. Even with rising gas prices, consumers are in the mood to buy new cars, apparently. The Big Three reported double-digit sales gains in April compared to a year ago. General Motors sales shooting up by 24%, Chrysler 22%, and Ford 16%. That's all in domestic sales, mind you. And despite earthquake and tsunami affecting production in Japan, Honda and Toyota had small sales increases. Honda up 9%, Toyota up 1.3%. So they always said there would be a demand for cars at some stage, and it appears that it is now. We're going to reach out to Bill Schuette, the Attorney General for the state of Michigan, this morning, because he was in Washington, D.C. as a statue of former President Gerald Ford was unveiled and now stands in the Capitol Rotunda. There was a ceremony. President Ford's son, Stephen, and his daughter, Susan, were there. Former First Lady Betty Ford did not attend, and as you know, the president grew up in East Grand Rapids and was president from 1974 to 1977. And Bill Schuette was there, so we'll get his reaction. For the first time in 13 years, by the way, Chrysler has earned credit ratings from 2 major rating agencies. Moody's Investor Services given Chrysler a B2 rating, and Standard & Poor's gave the automaker a B+ rating. And that's good news also for the auto business. Stocks were lower yesterday on Wall Street. The Dow was unchanged. The S&P lost 5, and the NASDAQ fell 22 points. They're making a prequel to The Wizard of Oz, and it's going to be shooting in Metro Detroit. And they're looking for extras. Now, don't get excited if you're tall, dark, and handsome, because they need people who are 18 or older and 4 foot 10 inches or shorter. All right? They need short people. It's, after it all, is a Wizard of Oz preview. That's what they're looking for. It's going to be called Oz the Great and Powerful, and it's going to be the story of what leads up to The Wizard of Oz. Metro Detroit native Sam Raimi is going to direct it, and it's going to star James Franco, who was nominated for the Oscar and hosted the Academy Awards, and Mila Kunis, who was in Black Swan. Mila Kunis? Tough to be short around Mila Kunis, if you know what I mean. All right, that's what's going on right now in the Detroit area. We have to talk with the United States Senator Carl Levin about what did Pakistan know? How did Osama bin Laden lived for 6 years in a sort of ostentatious compound with 18-foot-high walls and barbed wire, only a half mile from a military academy, and Pakistan didn't know about that? Can that be true? We're going to talk to Senator Carl Levin a little later. He's the chair of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and we're going to go behind the scenes on what exactly happened in that raid. Are they going to release photos of bin Laden's body? The president's going to be at the Ground Zero site tomorrow to commemorate the killing of Osama bin Laden. He's finally invited President George W. Bush to join him, and President George W. Bush said, no, thank you. I just want to stay out of the spotlight, is what he's saying, out of the media limelight. And he's going to go there to commemorate the 10-year anniversary in September, but he didn't want to stand there with President Obama on Thursday. Is it because he was invited late to the party? Is it because he doesn't like the way Obama has criticized him, saying that he neglected the hunt for bin Laden? Or does he just find it distasteful to go to that site and sort of gloat? Violence begets violence, and I understand some people will feel revenge, but that's not going to change the dreadful, dreadful tragedy that took place on that day and that location. So President Bush says, I don't think so. I'll go there and commemorate the day. Now, there is a guy, Wayne State University professor, who says that Detroit is an excellent target for terrorists, and if Al-Qaeda is going to strike back, Detroit might be a target. Why? Because of the auto business. He says, look what happened to the economy in Japan with the tsunami and the earthquake. If they could come up with some sort of attack on the auto business here in Detroit, what would it do to the American economy? That's what he's speculating. And there's another professor, though, at the University of Michigan who says, the world has already begun to see bin Laden as a dinosaur before he was even killed. So Al-Qaeda maybe not as strong as it once was and waning. I hadn't heard that before, but I hope it's true. When we come back, we're going to meet with a lady who went to the royal wedding. She went to London, not to the wedding, but to be around the scene. Took some people from Grand Rapids with her. And on Friday night, much to my surprise, I'm watching Dateline NBC sitting in Bermuda, and there she is, Carla Ord, right there. And the cameras follow her around, and she talked about it. She had a big hat on, too. So we'll hear firsthand what her experience with Dateline NBC was like, bringing a little attention to Michigan. We're live in our American Metal Roof studio. You can find them at AmericanMetalRoofs.com and save up to 50% on your energy bills. But 3 minutes from now, we'll find out why Prince Charles is in Washington and what the royals have been up to since the wedding, too. Stay tuned.